presentation will provide an overview of the enhancements to the Born Information System being installed on the evening of Monday, June 3rd, 2013. Starting on Tuesday, June 4th, when a user logs into the Born Information System, they will see changes in the following areas. There will be user interface changes impacting all users related to the landing page, menu options for data quality reports, acknowledgement and batch upload, as well as data submission acknowledgement. Additional changes are being implemented for hospital encounters, hospital data quality reports, and Carter Plus Move Delete cycle functionality. I will first review these changes and will then perform a system demonstration. The first set of user interface changes is on the landing page. When a user logs into the Born Information System, they start at the landing page or home page. The user's organization will now be displayed at the top of the screen. Also, when a user does a patient search and selects the patient's pregnancy, the user organization will now be displayed on the Select Pregnancy screen as well. The filter for the patient records and the ART patient records is now saved for the duration of the user's login session. If you follow the link to a particular patient and then return to the landing page, the most recent filter settings will still be in place. The second set of user interface changes relates to the menu options. To better support the operational processes, the following changes have been made to the menu bar and the Quick Links navigation bar. New menu options have been added for data quality reports and acknowledgement. Batch upload and all related error correction functionality have been moved under a single menu. The order of the menu option has been changed for ease of use. A new data quality menu option has been added. The new data quality menu is available at the top menu, as well as on the Quick Links menu on the left navigation bar. The data quality menu contains shortcuts to all the data quality reports relating to a user's organization. The menu is visible for users with administrative reporting access. Hospital users will see the hospital reconciliation, incomplete records, and missing data element reports. A midwifery user will see the midwifery courses for care, incomplete records, and missing data elements reports. A Carter Plus user will see the cycle reconciliation, incomplete cycle record, and potential duplicate cycle reports. The data quality reports menu will provide shortcuts to these reports. The reports will continue to be available under the reporting menu for administrative reports. The data submission acknowledgement functionality has been moved from the administration menu to a new acknowledgement menu. The new acknowledgement menu is available on the top menu, as well as on the Quick Links menu on the left navigation bar. Users with local administration functionality will continue to have access to the acknowledgement functionality. In addition, a new user role has been created for organization data acknowledgement. Local administrators can now give access to data submission acknowledgement to users in their organization without having to provide access to the user creation and change password functionality. The batch upload menu has been updated. Previously, the batch upload menu contained the screen to add and submit batch upload files with queue management as a separate menu option. Normalization errors was a sub-menu under batch upload. In order to support a more streamlined operational process, all batch upload and error correction functionality has been moved under the batch upload menu. The overall order of the menu options on the top menu and Quick Links bar has been updated to incorporate the new menu options, as well as for ease of use. Data acknowledgement. The data submission acknowledgement screen now supports the ability to acknowledge multiple months at a single time. If a user selects multiple months to acknowledge and the acknowledgement is successful for some months but not others, green success messages will appear for the acknowledged months and acknowledgement will be completed. Red error messages for the failed months will appear as per existing functionality and the acknowledgement will not be completed for those specific months. I will now perform a system demonstration of these changes. After the demonstration, I will review changes to the hospital encounters and to the hospital data quality reports. I will now do a quick demonstration of the user interface impacting changes that were just reviewed in the PowerPoint presentation. First of all, when you log into the Born Information System, you will now see on your landing page or home page the organization that you belong to. As well, if you do a patient search, I'm just going to search here for a particular chart number, and select this patient. You'll see now that on the Select Pregnancy screen, the organization is also present. Now, returning to the landing page, I'm going to show you the one additional change that is in place on the home page or landing page. In the patient's records box, you'll see that there is a date range as well as a status, and this is something that you can change. So right now, I'm going to change my filter to look at only submitted encounters. So I want to see the ones that are complete with no outstanding errors. I'm going to refine my results to update my list, and then I'm going to drill into one of the patients. You'll see a pop-up from the hospital data feed. This occurs for any records created through an upload. I'm just going to say OK. When I go back to the landing page, you'll notice that my filter on the patient's record has been saved. So this has been the change that is in place. When you log out and log back in, it will be reset to the default, but this allows you to set frequently used filters that you can use for the duration of your session. The other major change with respect to the user interface are with the menus. So you will see here on the top menu, the new ordering. You have patient search, batch upload, data quality reports, reporting, acknowledgement, administration, my profile, help, and sign in. And you'll also see these options down in the quick links left navigation. You might not have all these options. It's all depending on what user role you're assigned. One of the new menu options that is now available is the data quality reports. So you can select it from the top menu and directly run the reports from the top menu, or you'll also see the listing in the quick links menu on the left navigation. I'm currently logged in as a hospital user with administrative reporting privileges, which is why I see all the hospital-related reports. If you're logged in as a midwife user or as a fertility user, you would see the equivalent reports that are applicable for your role. So what you would do is you'd select which report you want to run and click on it, and the report filter would then open up in a secondary tab. You can adjust your start and end date for whatever criteria you would like. So I'm going to run this report for January 1st to 31st and do view report. This report is the exact same report that you can run from the Reporting Administrative Reports menu. They are still located in the original locations. And similarly, you'll get the same results. And so here I've generated my incomplete maternal report with all the various tabs. And I still have the ability to export my file into whichever format I would like. I'm just going to close my tab here from the report, and then I'm back here to my main Board Information Systems session. The other new menu option is the Acknowledgement Menu. Again, you can run it from the top menu, or it's also available in the Quick Links tab. So I'm going to select Acknowledgement, and which will automatically launch the Data Submission Acknowledgement screen. I'm going to click here to show all unacknowledged records and do a search. I've done all my analysis and say I would like to acknowledge my January and February labor, birth, and postpartum data. So I'm going to select both those boxes so January and February for labor, birth, and postpartum, and do a save to do the acknowledgement. So you'll see here that I have a nice green message to say that I've successfully acknowledged the labor, birth, and postpartum for February, but the labor, birth, and postpartum was not acknowledged for January because of outstanding issues. So at least in this case, when I go back down, you'll notice that in February, I now have acknowledged. It's set on with my date, time, and stamp. My January, it undid the acknowledgement because it just couldn't proceed with it. So in this case, you do not have to go back to February because it did successfully acknowledge, and then you do your investigation of why January didn't acknowledge. So you can, again, have your shortcut here that's been in there in the past to your maternal incomplete report to look at it to find out what are the outstanding draft records or encounters that need to be addressed. So as per normal, I would go here to one of the tabs to look at is your summary of records with incomplete maternal records, and here are my two patients that require some more investigation. I'm just going to close that report and go to the last item where there's the menu changes, which is the batch upload. Previously on the top menu, you've had the batch upload as well as queue management, and then the normalization errors was under the batch upload. We've now moved everything under the batch upload menu just to drive the process of the pieces that you want to do. I will continue with a description of additional changes to the Born Information System. There are some changes to the hospital encounters. All hospital and midwifery encounters have been updated to include a comments field. There are some encounter validation rule changes. On the birth mother encounter, there's a current rule that it cannot be greater than 6 hours from time fully dilated to time started pushing. This rule has been revised to be cannot be greater than 24 hours from time fully dilated to time started pushing. Again, on the birth mother encounter, the current rule of cannot be greater than 6 hours from time started pushing to time of birth has been revised to be cannot be greater than 24 hours from time started pushing to time of birth. On the birth mother encounter, two validation rules have been removed. The current rule, where the difference between time fully dilated and time of birth cannot be greater than 12 hours, has been removed. Again, on the birth mother, if maternal suspected chorioamnionitis is selected in all indications for cesarean section, then labor and birth complications must include fever greater than 38.5. This rule has been removed. On the birth child encounter, APGAR values of 000 are not allowed for a live birth. This rule has been updated to be APGAR values of 000 are allowed for live birth if the newborn resuscitation value is not set to none. Hospital data quality reports. The incomplete maternal record report and the incomplete child record report have been updated with two changes. A new filter option has been added to show batch upload information. Summary counts and details of patients in the match queue have been added. A new filter option has been added to show batch upload information. The filter is defaulted to no. If it is set to no, the incomplete reports will function as they do today. If the filter option is set to yes, additional batch upload columns will appear on the detail tabs related to the source upload files and the users that last created or updated the encounters. This functionality also applies to data entry users, as it does record the time the encounter was last created or updated. On the details tabs in the report, information is now provided on the source of each encounter. Information provided for each encounter includes the batch file that created or updated the encounter, the date and time the batch file was processed, the date and time the encounter was last updated. The date and time the encounter was last updated is applicable for both data entry users and hospital upload users. But for hospital upload users, the date and time the encounter was last updated might be different from the date and time the batch file was processed. This would occur if the encounter was updated manually via the user interface or using the cleansing queue or queue management edit functionality. For each of the encounters, it also displays a user ID of the person who last updated the encounter. The batch file name, the batch file process date and time, the encounter last updated date and time, and the encounter last updated by columns are repeated for each applicable encounter. The match queue. The match queue only relates to records being entered via the batch upload functionality. Patients are put in the match queue if the incoming patient record has sufficient demographics information in common with an existing born patient to be a potential match. Manual intervention to resolve the match will be performed by a born agent to determine if this is a new patient or a match to an existing patient. On the Summary tab, counts of the patients in the match queue are now displayed. Changes have also been made to the Maternal Newborn Reconciliation Report. A summary page has been added to the Maternal Newborn Reconciliation Report. On the summary page, total counts of maternal admissions, dispositions, birth mother encounters, as well as the number of births from the birth child encounters are recorded on the page. The number of maternal admissions represents the number of maternal patients who have a labor, birth, or postpartum encounter with an admission date in the provided date range. The counts match the existing maternal admissions tab. The number of maternal dispositions represents the number of maternal patients who have a labor, birth, or postpartum encounter with the disposition date from the final maternal outcome in the provided date range. These counts match the existing maternal dispositions tab. The number of birth mother encounters represents the number of maternal patients who have a birth mother encounter with the newborn date of birth in the provided date range. These counts match a new tab called the List of Births, Birth Mother. The total number of fetuses from the birth mother encounter represents the total number of fetuses from the birth mother encounters with a newborn date of birth in the provided date range. These counts match the sum of the number of fetuses fields now found in the new List of Births, Birth Mother tab. The number of birth mother encounters where number of fetuses is unknown represents the number of maternal patients who have a birth mother encounter with a newborn date of birth in the provided date range, and the number of fetuses field was set to unknown. These counts match the number of rows where fetuses equal unknown in the new List of Births, Birth Mother tab. The number of live births from the birth child encounter represents the number of birth child encounters where the live birth is in the provided date range. The number of stillbirths from the birth child encounter represents the number of birth child encounters where stillbirth in the provided date range. Counts of the live births plus the stillbirths match the existing List of Births tab for birth child. The number of newborn discharges transfers represents the number of neonatal dispositions for infants with a birth child encounter in that organization where the disposition is in the given date range. The disposition is based on the neonatal transfer to NICU FCN from the birth child encounter and the neonatal transfer discharge from the postpartum child encounter. These counts match the existing neonatal transfer discharge tab. As mentioned previously, a new detail tab has been added for the List of Births from the birth mother. This tab provides a listing of all birth mother encounters in a given place and time with a newborn date of birth within the provided date range. As well, for all the tabs related to the maternal patients, including the number of maternal admissions, the number of maternal dispositions, and the List of Births, Birth Mother, the tabs have been expanded to include additional field values. Each of these maternal patient tabs contains the following fields: maternal chart number, maternal hospital visit ID, health card number, given name, family name, maternal admission date, maternal admission time, number of fetuses, newborn date of birth, newborn time of birth, pregnancy outcomes, maternal disposition date, maternal disposition time, infant chart number, as well as infant hospital visit ID. In some of these cases, some of these fields might be blank. In this case where you have an admission in 1 month and the patients are not yet discharged, you will see blank maternal dispositions on it. As well, on the infant-related tabs for the list of births from the birth child, as well as the neonatal transfers and discharges, these tabs have been expanded to include the following fields: infant chart number, infant hospital visit ID, health card number, given name, family name, date of birth, time of birth, birth outcome, gestational age at birth, neonatal disposition date, neonatal disposition time, birth location, birth hospital, maternal chart number, and maternal hospital visit ID. Similar to the maternal fields, there are some of these fields that might be blank. In the case where there is a child that is not linked to a mother, you would find that the maternal chart number and visit ID would be blank. If you have any questions regarding any of these changes or enhancements, please contact your board coordinator. Thank you very much.